welcome to Saxon Math Intermediate 5. This is lesson 38, fractions and mixed numbers on a number line. So let's go ahead and get started. Don't forget to label your paper. Lesson 38 notes, put your date at the top so you remember which one's which and you're not confused. All right, here we go. Here is your mental math. So go ahead and try to work through those as quickly as you can. I'll move my little video screen out of the way here for you so you can see all of the problems. Lay purchased 5 dozen eggs. How many eggs is that? Round 615 to the nearest hundred and then add 800. What is the answer? One CD case weighs 70 grams. 10 CD cases weigh how many grams? Don't forget to put the grams at the end of your answer, please. 24 hours is 1 day. How many hours is 5 days? 50% of 80 cents. Don't forget to put the right decimal place and all that stuff. 25% of 80 cents and 10% of 80 cents. There should be an equal sign here at the end. Sorry about that. And 6 times 6 minus 6 divided by 6 plus 1 minus 6. And what do you get? All right. Go ahead and do those and then press play when you are ready to keep going. Belinda wrote a multiplication problem and then erased one of the factors and one of the digits in the product. She gave it to Laurel as a problem-solving exercise. Oh, that was so nice of her. What a great friend. Copy Belinda's multiplication problem and find the missing digits for Laurel. Now, you should know how to do this because we've done lots of these type of problems before. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to use some guess and check and try to solve that problem. I will give you one hint and just one because I'm so nice today that this number right here needs to be a 1. Okay, that's your only hint. You do the rest. Okay, you can do it. We've done a lot of these. All right, on to our new concept. A number line, you should already know because we've talked about it a lot of times, is a line that is made up of a series of points. The points on the line represent numbers. Remember, the line does not always have to be straight, just like a clock. Okay, but this one on the bottom is straight. The points on the line represent numbers, and on the following number line, whole numbers are labeled. So you see the whole numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. However, there are many numbers on the line that are not labeled. Where all of those arrows are pointing. Many of the unlabeled points on a number line can be named with fractions and mixed numbers. A mixed number is a whole number and a fraction together, like 1 and a half, 1 and 1/2. All right, that's a whole number, 1, and a mixed number or a fraction. Well, it is a mixed number because it includes a fraction. So 1 and 1/2 is a mixed number. To identify a fraction or a mixed number on a number line, you need to count the divisors between the whole number. Be careful to count the sections of the number line and not the marks that separate the sections. Remember how we talked about that before? So you're counting the spaces in between, not counting the numbers. Okay, so just like when we did yesterday in class, remember we drew a shape and then we divided it into sections. So if this is our imaginary shape here, oh, that did not work very well. Let me erase that. Forgot I was not using a line tool. Erase, erase. Okay, let's just do a line. There we go. So let's pretend that this is our rectangle from yesterday. Not a perfect rectangle, but you get the idea. right? So if we were going to divide it into thirds, we would put these two lines here, right? So now we're dividing it into thirds, but we do not count the lines. Those are not what we're counting. We're counting the spaces in between, the sections, just like we did when we counted the sections of a shape. Or we also had the sections in a circle yesterday, remember? There's our circle. And then we added our sections by adding lines, but we don't count the lines, we count the sections. Same thing is true here. So here we have 4 sections, and here we have 3 sections. All right. When reading a number line with sections smaller than 1, you need to follow the following steps. Step 1, find the whole number distance from 0 up to, but not past, the point that is to be named. This is the whole number part of the answer. Okay, so if you were going to go up to 2, then you would stop at 2. Okay, but not past 2. So then 2 begins the beginning of your answer, right? If you went past 2, then you would get to 3, and then 3 would be the beginning of your answer. But if we are just trying to find 2, then we would stop at 2. Step 2, count the number sections between the whole number, and this is the denominator of the fraction. Then count the number of sections past the whole number to the point being named, and this is the numerator of the fraction. Okay, so we get the bottom and then the top. So here we go. Name the fraction or mixed number marked by each arrow on these number lines. Okay, so if we look at the first one, we want to point to what? A point, or point A here, point A is between 0, our whole number is 0, and 1. Between 0 and 1. So let's circle those so we remember what we're talking about. Between 0 and 1. So it is named by a fraction and not by a mixed number. Okay, because it doesn't even get to a whole number. So it has to only be a fraction. It's not all the way to 1 yet. So it can't be a mixed number. It could only be a fraction. The distance between the whole numbers on this number line is divided into how many sections? Let's count. Okay, let's get a little thing. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we have 4 sections. Remember, we're counting sections and not lines. The distance between the whole numbers on this number line is divided into fourths. So point A is 1 section from 0. Okay, point A is 1 section over from 0. So that means our bottom number is 4 because there was 4 parts. It's divided into fourths. And it's only 1 section of it. So that makes A 1/4. All right, let's look at B together, okay? Now B is past the 1, right? But it's not to the 2 yet. Okay, so we know this could be a mixed number, and we know that the beginning of the mixed number is going to start with our 1. Okay, just like when we were estimating, we didn't quite get to the 2 yet, so we're going to say it starts with a 1, right? And then we're going to count our sections to see how many sections we have to deal with. 1, 2, 3, 4, because there's 4 sections still between our 2 whole numbers. Now we're only dealing with the 2 whole numbers here, right? Between 1 and 2 now. And there's 4 sections. So we know that our denominator, oops, sorry you guys, too many tools. Our denominator is going to still remain 4, right? But this time, B is way over here. We have 1, 2, 3 sections. So we're going to say 1 and 3 fourths. Okay? Now, C. C is over here, and it's between what two numbers? It's between 5 and 6, right? So it didn't get to 6 yet, so we know this mixed number is going to start with a 5, right? And then we see how many sections that we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this time we have 5. So our denominator needs to be 5. Okay, and we know that this blue dot for C is 1, 2, 3, 4 sections over. So 5 and 4 fifths. 5 and 4 fifths. Good. All right, now let me move my head out of the way here. Oop, not so high. Let's go down a little bit. There we go. Sorry. Ooh, does not want to be right there. Okay. You can probably figure this one out. Now we're going to talk about from what number to what number. Now we're going to go from 6 to 7, right? That's where our spot lies, between those two numbers. But we didn't get to 7 yet, so 6 becomes our first number in our mixed number. Okay, there's our 6. And how many spots do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so our denominator is going to be 5. And our numerator is only 1, because there's only one space between the 6 and the dot for D. So 6 and 1/5 becomes our answer. All right. So you should have a number line that looks like this in your notes, please. Example 2. Rashawn walked 2/3 of a mile. Denise walked 3/4 of a mile. Who walked farther? Well, we need to draw a comparison. We need to decide which one is bigger and which one is smaller. Both 2/3 and 3/4 are greater than what? Both of them are greater than 0. Good. But they are less than 1. So let's go ahead and use the new skill that we've been practicing. We're going to draw a number line, a very short number line. Okay, here's our number line. And at the beginning, we're going to put a line. And then at the end, we're going to put a number line. Okay, and this number line on this side is going to be our 0. And this number line, or this point on our number line, is going to be 1. Okay, and now we need to divide it up. Okay? So since the numbers to the right on the number line are greater than the numbers to the left, we can see that 3/4 is greater than 2/3. We can see that that's greater, but how do we see that? Well, we need to divide this up so that we have spaces, right? We're going to actually need to see 2 number lines. Okay, so let's get our line tool here again, and let's draw another number line. This one's going to be a little bit different. It's still going to start the same. Okay, sorry, drew a little messy there. Okay, and it still has a 0 and a 1, right? So here's our 0. Oh, I can't do that with a line. What am I thinking? Okay, here's our 0. Here's our 1. Okay, but see how on this one, 2/3, how many spaces are there on the bottom? It tells us right there. Do you see? tells us that there has to be 3 spaces and it has to be equal, right? So we'd have a line about right there, and we'd have a line about right there. Okay. Now on this one, we see 3/4, so we know we need to have 4 equal spaces. So we'd need one right about there, right about here, and right about there. Oops, there. Okay. Now, if we're going to place our numbers on the number line, we know that 2/3 is going to have to be 2 spaces over. So what we're going to draw is a nice little dot here. Let me get a tool. Okay, this is where 2/3 is going to be. Okay, because we have 1 space and 2 spaces. But for 3/4, we need to move over 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. So here is our number. Okay, and we can see that 3/4 is greater than 2/3. Okay, moving on. Lesson practice. We're going to try to name the fraction or the mixed number marked by each arrow. So go ahead and draw these number lines on your page. If you need to make more space, then put one on top of the other. If you need to do that, that's fine. Okay. However, you can do it so that you're working neatly. Because remember, when we're using number lines or we're drawing shapes or lines of any sort, we need to work super neatly. Okay, it cannot just be messy all over the place. All right, let's do some of these together. Okay, so here we have A. Now, A is between 0 and 1. So we know it did not get to a whole number yet. So it's not a mixed number. It's just going to be a fraction. And to find our fraction, we need to count the bottom first. 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. So we know that 4 is our bottom number, our denominator. And then on the top, we count over how many until we hit the dot, right? 1, 2, 3 spaces. So we know that A equals 3/4, right? Okay, let's do B together. Now B, we're looking at the 1 all the way to the 2. But did we get to the 2 yet? No. So we're going to have 1 as our whole number. And now we need to figure out our fraction. So we're going to count our spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Still 4 on the bottom because remember our spaces should be equal apart. And it was 4 before, so it's still 4. And then we're going to count the spaces over, just 1. So we have 1 and 1/4 for B. Now C. We know that our whole number needs to be 6 because we have not got all the way over here to 7 yet, right? So we're going to put 6 as our whole number. And now we're going to figure out the other part of our mixed number, which is our fraction. We're going to count how many spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now we know we need a 5 on the bottom, not 4. Because on this number line, they're separated by 5 spaces. And then we need to figure out how many spaces till our blue dot. And we can see there are 2 spaces. So we have 6 and 2/5 is our mixed number. All right, and our last one, we can see that our blue dot did not get all the way to the 8. So we're going to go with 7. Ooh, that was fancy. Okay, we're going to go with 7 as our whole number, but we need to figure out the rest of our mixed number, which is a fraction. So we have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again. 5 spaces on the bottom. That's how it should be because this is a number line, so they should be equal distance apart. And then we're going to count our spaces till we get to the blue dot. 1, 2, 3. So we know that 3/5 is what's here. Okay, so now you know how to find a fraction or a mixed number or a whole number because we did that before on a number line. All right? So now you have a new tool to help you find missing numbers. Okay, lesson practice. 3 fractions are graphed on the number line below, referring to the number line to compare the fractions in the problems E through G. All right, so E says 1/3 is something to 1/2. So if you look here, here's 1/3, and here's 1/2, because here is 0, right? And way over here is 1, so here's half in the middle. So 1/3 is greater than, less than, or equal to 1/2. Well, it's not equal to, because they're not at the same point. It's not greater, because it didn't get closer to the 1, so it has to be less than. Okay, so you're going to draw your less than symbol here. And you're going to move on to the next one. F. 1/2 is greater than, less than, or equal to 3/4. Well, here's 1/2. It looks like 3/4 is over here, so it's got to be greater than, right? Or, sorry, less than. 1/2 is first. 1/2 is less than 3/4. Okay? Last one over here, 3/4 and 1/3. Here's 3/4. Here's 1/3. So we can see that 3/4 is greater than 1/3. Now, lots of people have a hard time determining which fractions are greater than or less than when they just hear them. But when you plot them out on a number line, it makes it easier to figure out which is greater and which is less. Okay, so if you're having a hard time figuring it out, then you can use this number line trick to help you figure out which is greater and which is less. All right, your homework today is page 236 through 238, 1 through 30, but you're only going to do the odd, so 1 through 29. Okay, odd numbers only. We'll write it on there just so we're all clear about it. Odd only. Yay, you're welcome. Okay, have a great day. I'll see you all later. Bye.